one day, I started talking about the myth of the apartheid. It was one lecture with the same group of audience. I started to talk about the Israeli apartheid, and he said there's no such thing as an Israeli apartheid, and in fact, I'm a living proof of it. I served in the IDF, I volunteered in the IDF, I served in the best brigade in the IDF, the Golani Brigade. And if you don't think it's this, then don't stay there. Anyway, and not only that, a year after, I became a commander. So let me put it this way. I, as an Arab, was a commander over Jewish soldiers in the IDF. Take that, apartheid. When I said this sentence, one of the anti-Israelis stood up and said to me, Yoseph, you know something? Once there is no use in you, the Jews will kick you and throw you to the garbage. That's what he said to me. Immediately, all the anti-Israelis are clapping and they're happy. Oh, you showed him. The pro-Israelis, they were not satisfied. They knew it's not the truth. They know it's not the truth. So they were angry. And the 50-50, they were waiting to see what I'm going to answer. What is my response? So I did the best thing there is. I told the story from my own personal reality. And the story was like this. I looked at that anti-Israeli and said, you know, based on what you think and your thesis, the Jews actually had an opportunity to kick me and throw me to the garbage because really there was no use in me. Further than that, saving me would have put their lives in jeopardy. Do you see how you're all anxious to see what's going on and ready, you know, that silence? It's exactly the same silence that was in that lecture, because where I'm about to take this, what is my response to something like this, and how I was already with no use, and saving me is putting others in jeopardy. I should say throughout my service in the IDF, I served with Christian soldiers, Muslim soldiers, Druze soldiers, and of course, from the Jewish community. Specifically, in the Second Lebanon War, I served in a unit where I was the only Arab. In a second, you'll understand why this information is important. On the 10th of August, 2006, I participated in the Second Lebanon War. I was in a village called Binjbil, which is in the south of Lebanon. And it was 4 days before ceasefire. My unit was requested to go to an evacuation mission. We did that successfully. And on the way back home to the shelter that we were in that village in Lebanon, the Hezbollah terrorists found us and ambushed us, and they launched an anti-tank missile at me. I was very lucky that this missile didn't hit me, but it hit a wall that was very close to me. But from the explosion, I flew in the air and landed on my belly. The second that happened, I realized that I was injured very badly, but my fellow friends, soldiers, just put me on a stretcher, took me to a house, and I promise you, I was really injured. When I turned on my back, I found out that my foot was cut off, and trust me, it's something that you don't want to deal with. But the fact is that I had a great doctor on field which helped me, and after that, Jewish and Arab doctors in the hospital of Nahariya, and after that in Haifa, not only managed to reattach my own foot, but I don't have even any mills or whatever, just 2 shrapnels there. And that's to show you what an amazing doctors we have in Israel, that without them, they deserve that, absolutely. Because without those amazing doctors, we could be in big trouble. And you know what? If I may step up for a second from that story, I came to visit soldiers that they were wounded in Gaza a few weeks ago. When I entered the hospital of Ichilov in Tel Aviv, I saw a Jewish soldier speaking on the phone and says, Toda Rabba, Dr. Amjad. Thank you very much, Dr. Amjad. These things we'll see only in Israel. An Arab doctor treating an IDF Jewish soldier and in fact rehabilitates him. And guess what? He's already back in Gaza to fight. That's how much brave soldiers we have in Israel. So, I was bleeding. I didn't have enough time to live. And this is the time where I had no use of me. And saving my life, it would have put in jeopardy other soldiers. Because Hezbollah were waiting for the evacuation to happen. But suddenly I feel movement. And the movement was 4 Jewish soldiers lifting that stretcher and putting them on their shoulders, backed up by another 4 Jewish soldiers, and doing absolutely everything to save their friend that was an Arab IDF soldier. And I promise you, I felt every movement, especially when we were running. They were actually running, I was on the stretcher. And when they ducked, because of an RPG going up just above us, they put their life in jeopardy to save me. And then an idiot anti-Israeli comes and tells me that once there's no use of me, they will kick me to the garbage. They put their life in jeopardy and they saved my life. At that moment, the anti-Israelis start either cursing me or shouting at me or shouting while they're cursing. And what did I tell you? When they are mad and irritated, I'm what? I'm happy, mabsoot. And that's exactly what it was there. For the pro-Israelis, they were absolutely happy, obviously, but the 50-50, they were the most important ones because they say, the satisfaction in their face, I can see that, when they just said, you know what? You convinced us. And I convinced them because this is not a story that I heard. This is something that happened to me. I felt it. I tasted it. I smelled it. I saw it. I heard it. No one can tell me, oh, maybe the facts are not like this, or maybe you are twisting the story. This story happened to me, so any anti-Israeli who will come and dare to debate me about my reality and my life, I promise you, he will be humiliated, as it should be. Now, before I finish, because time's up is being like shared here so many times on the screen, I cannot leave without talking about the partnership between Jews and Arabs in Israel. Guys, Israel is a Jewish and democratic state. Israel is a Jewish and democratic state where 20% of the population are Arab Israelis, Muslims, Christians, and Druze. They're serving in the highest position in Israel. It doesn't mean that everything is perfect in Israel. I know that nothing is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect country or perfect society. Do we have racism? Yes, unfortunately. Do we have discrimination? Yes, unfortunately. But to any American here, do you want to tell me that America is perfect, that there's no racism here, that there's no discrimination here? So based on that, then we should call America apartheid as well. We should call the UK apartheid. We should get every single country an apartheid state. But the reason why they're saying that Israel is an apartheid state because they want to invent a problem. Why? Because just like my father told me, you want to solve the problem? 50% of solving it is recognizing the problem, and then you can bridge the gaps and solve it. How can you recognize a problem that does not exist? How? And the only reason why they create a problem that does not exist, because those specific people with this specific agenda, they do not want to solve the problem. They want to maintain the problem, and they want to maintain the problem so they can give more money and more money to the anti-Israeli organization. Well, let me tell you one thing. Israel is not an apartheid state. Arabs and Jews are living next to each other, fighting for each other. And right now, as we speak, you have Arab soldiers fighting in Gaza, fighting in Lebanon. And I'll tell you more than that. I'll tell you even more than that. Anyone who even tried to hint that the Israeli Arabs will join Hamas got the best evidence. Not only we did not join, but we resent Hamas. We hate them. And we think, the majority of us, we think that they are the vicious terrorist organization just like ISIS, and we will fight back and we will win because we don't have any other option. And that's why, guys, and that's exactly why we need to strengthen our society. Our enemies want to do absolutely everything to divide us. If you look at the social media, you think that Israel is really divided, but I am on the ground. I go from the north to the south, visit hospitals, visit soldiers, communities, Arabs and Jews. And I can tell you one thing. The reason why they want to divide us, because they know one thing. If Jews and Arabs, left and right, secular and religion are united. Not even one single terrorist organization can beat this country and beat these people. And I promise you, before I leave, with your help and with your support, I will continue fight. I will continue to spread the truth about the state of Israel. And further than that, this is my chance to thank IAC for this amazing conference and for the fact of bringing people from all over the world together to show the strength of Israel, to show the bond between Israel and the United States, and to show how much we are strong when we are united together. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that everyone in the world knows about the strength of the Israeli people, knows about the strength of the Jewish community here, everywhere, every place. So what better place to do it than here, and to do it on my social media with the Israeli flag and with your help. So here's what we're going to do. Here is what we're going to do. Can you help me? Come up on the stage, please. All right. Guys, if there is one thing the anti-Israeli and the terror supporters hate, is the chant, Am Yisrael Chai. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to do it, and you're going to see, all you anti-Israeli terror supporters, what the strength of the people of Israel. Guys, are you ready? Yeah! One more time, are you ready? Yeah! So I'm going to say Am Yisrael, and everybody's going to scream Chai. Here we go. Am Yisrael! Am Yisrael! Am Yisrael! Yahya Sha'ab Israel, Am Yisrael Chai, in your face. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you.